That was Denver's own, the Frickish Shinnas. So excited to have them as a part of this project. And you know that we're brought to you by Mile High Life, the place where you can listen to all the dope Denver podcasts out there. Tune in. We are Happy Friday. My name is Arthur Raw, and you know that I'm joined by my amazing co-hosts, John Ekstrom.
What's up? How are you? Good to be here. Happy Friday once again.
And of course, Kevin Batstone.
Good to see you guys. Good to be back with you guys. Round 5. Let's roll.
And we're going to keep this train moving weekly for you. You know that we drop on Fridays. You can listen anywhere. Watch us on YouTube. It's a lot of fun. However, life keeps the clock keeps ticking. Life keeps going. John, what did you do last weekend?
Okay, so we are a week removed. I got in the car with my kids, my dog, and a bunch of shit, and we drove Americana road trip. I got the Waylon Jennings shirt on here. You saw, if you follow us on social, by the way, Happy Friday Den, Instagram story, Teddy Roosevelt socks. We went up to Mount Rushmore. We went up to Crazy Horse. We toured Rapid City, South Dakota. We went through Wyoming, Nebraska, right through America's breadbasket and heartland. I got to tell you guys, it was phenomenal. Everyone says it's like underrated or overrated, right? You go, it's like, okay, it's up there. It's kind of smaller than you expect. Nah, man. I felt deep connection to my...
So did you feel like what I was saying about the Crazy Horse Monument, like how large that is? Like
that thing's enormous.
It's huge.
And so if you go on the Facebook page, I posted some photos from my trip there, and I took a photo of what the Crazy Horse Monument is going to be with where it is in the background. And so they got a lot of work to do still.
Yeah.
Crazy Horse is cool. I felt deep connection to Mount Rushmore. It was phenomenal. I loved it. We had a great time. The kids did really well. The dog did really well. It was thrilling. 10 out of 10, highest recommendation. And before we move on from that, I have gifts for you guys.
Oh,
okay.
He's always coming.
We went to Mount Rushmore, right? Okay. So my two sheriffs.
No, he did not.
So
look at that.
I got Sheriff Kevin.
Oh yeah.
And Sheriff Arthur.
That's tremendous.
From the gift shop, they're magnets, so they're not gonna stick on you. But I got you those. Did I buy my kids anything? No. I'm kidding, I did. But
what a solve that.
But I'm like, this will be good on the show. I got my two sheriffs here. Kevin, Arthur, Mount Rushmore, amazing. Had a great weekend. Long time in the car, though. You know, like
a lot of driving
around.
It is
a lot of windshield time.
Yeah.
Phenomenal,
but well worth
though.
it.
But we teased it. Had to bring it back. What was your guys' weekend like? How'd you do?
Oh, man, we had a good time. And first of all, I want to get to Mount Rushmore. I haven't been up there yet. We talked about that. It's just a cool place, great American history. I love your socks. For people that aren't following us on social media, head on over and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, so you can see John's epic socks. But with
Teddy
that
Roosevelt,
said,
TR, Rough Riders, baby.
Full send. Man, we had a good time. So last Friday, like we left off last Happy Friday, Art and I went down to the Theo Von show at the Paramount Theater. We had a good time, man. We got to hang out with Theo after the show, kind of prospect for when he's back in January and doing some fun stuff. Great comedy. We laughed and just had a really good visit with him.
Yeah, so much fun going backstage and just getting that energy of all these entertainers that have performed out there. It's an honor. So I just really want to drive that point home. It's an honor to be at these events and be able to go back there and do what we do. Other things that I did this weekend was one of my favorite things to do, and that is to organize, to clean. I'm kind of OCD. I love vacuuming, and so I've just been dialing in my place, trying to make it my smell, which is... and that was
your smell?
Yeah, my smell, because everybody has their own smell. This apartment has somebody's old smell in there. I can't identify what this smell is exactly. I don't know if it smells like somebody just would blow out candles all the time and it smells smoky or something, but it's like it's different. It's not water. So that was my weekend. A great time, great time. And meeting Theo Von obviously was as a highlight, and meeting people that are humble and also vulnerable in the public light. Let's all do that if you're in that position. So moving forward, though, we got to talk pork on a fork. We got to talk. We got to talk Westward's recent 10 best places to get green chili.
Oh yeah. So okay, Westward. Every year does this, and this list is just designed to annoy people, right? Because you're gonna leave out. It's Denver, right? So there's 8 zillion places to get green chili. And so I read it. It's written by Molly Martin, who I've worked with before, is a terrific writer. She's and she put this list together. And I read it and I go, man, this is missing at least 3 of my favorite places. So, by the way, we'll have a link to this article down in the show notes. So make sure you're following us on socials and on Mile High Life, because we'll have a link to this. But when I read this, I go, you're missing some institutions here. And two, I'll bring to light in Denver proper. One is the Bull and Bush. So Bull and Bush in Glendale, not far from where you are.
I haven't had their green chili yet, so next time I go in there.
Next time, it comes in like this cast iron crock too.
Okay.
So like old school style. They do phenomenal work. And you can also get green chili on mashed potatoes. Have you had that yet?
That's amazing.
I no, it's called the bangers and mash.
Right.
And I've had that. It comes with sausage, the mashed potato. So I have had the green chili there, but not just the green chili.
Get
It was
by
on the
itself.
bangers and mash. Yeah.
So good. I mean, Bull and Bush, Denver institution, still crushing it.
And that's in your wheelhouse, Art.
It's
You
a
can throw a
block and a
rock
half
there.
block and a half away. We are a block and a half away.
And then another one I got to give a shout out to. I was there Wednesday night with my dad. It's his favorite place. It's Brewery Bar 2.
Oh, yeah.
We talked about them, I think, the very first week on this show, where someone lost a ring and it was returned
Yes.
to them by a server at Brewery Bar. Brewery Bar 2, just another Denver institution. I'm going to give you one more, and then I want to hear where you guys get your green chili. Tellers. So it's out in Applewood. So Golden, Wheat Ridge area. It's like 20th in Youngfield. I go there. It's my favorite breakfast burrito. That's where I get my pork on a fork.
Okay.
Right? So the breakfast burrito is phenomenal. The green chili has like the perfect like level of of spice. Like you get not just a handshake from your spice, but kind of a bro hug. So like
Embrace me.
yeah. It's like, ooh, that is kind of an invitation for more. Ooh, I like that. That's nice.
Get your nose to sweat.
A little bit. So when I sweat, by the way, I sweat under here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like when I'm sweating from spice, it's under here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so like you can tell if I'm eating something spicy because I'll start
Do
sweating.
you get like a little red?
No, I don't get so much red, but I'll sweat like right underneath my eyes.
Wow.
Yeah,
Interesting.
funny.
Interesting.
Okay, where do you guys get your green
I love
chili?
green chili.
Yeah, Kev.
I've been to a couple places around town. I mean, some of the things you just mentioned, I have had the pleasure of tasting. Sam's number 3 is another great place that
hell
has some
yeah,
good
dude.
green chili, man.
Really?
Yeah, Sam's 3 is good.
That's
and,
walking
and there's one
distance,
not
too.
far from you,
Yeah,
right
yeah.
there in kind of the Cherry and Leetsdale area. I think that was one of the first places I had it.
Usually
Obviously,
wait at Sam's though. Like,
you think?
Yes, it's
Well, no.
it's a poppin' popular place.
oh, yeah, and dude, the menu is enormous.
They have a big menu.
Yeah.
It reminds me a little bit of Black Eyed Pea with how their
sure.
menu is enormous. I mean, you're reading through a novel to figure out what you want.
Or you get like a binder of shit from the Cheesecake Factory. You're like, how many pages is this thing? Like, is there photos of the servers' families in here? Like, what is this?
Well, and then there's always the speculation of like, are any of these really, really good? Or
At Sam's they are.
Or because Sam's is the exception, but usually when you see a big fat
Yeah.
menu like that, you're like, all right, what's really good here? Some of my favorite places, I have to name Las Delicias, which is a chain here, definitely in Denver. I don't know if it's in other places, but I love Las Delicias green chili.
I think it's Las Delicias.
Delicias. And every week I'm going to mispronounce something. You can correct me.
Well, I've watched Discussion Combustion. I know that this happens.
This happened last night on Discussion Combustion.
It's a regular
So,
occurrence.
I mean, Kevin can do it there. I'll do it here. All right.
That's right, that's
We're
right.
keeping you in check.
And I need people like that. So that place is like a staple for me. And then I got to say, there's nothing like green chili from a stove at somebody's house that has passed down grandmama's recipe or whatever for so many times, and having that good homemade green chili. It's hard to top that.
100%.
It's a Colorado staple. I mean, I remember on episode 1 of Happy Friday, we talked about green chili.
Yeah.
And I remember asking you kind of what your style was, and that's when pork on a fork was born, of course. You like it thick. I kind of like the Santiago style. I still like kind of
that's
the
good
green
too.
chili sauce. Like 505 is good if you want to go canned. I'll take that over Stokes. But
The one that I get from the grocery store that's in a jar is Durango Diner.
oh, that's a good one. I used to sell it with my old company.
Yeah, dude, that's pretty spicy too. Like,
It's good.
The heat levels. Durango Diner, by the way, in Durango, one of my favorite places to get brunch anywhere in the state. Just phenomenal.
Delicious.
I haven't eaten that much today, and this always seems to happen. I love the heat, though. I love a lot of spice and that challenge. And one great way to cool your palate when you're eating this super spicy food is by drinking a glass of milk. However, people haven't been drinking glasses of milk recently. No, there's a new trend out there, and apparently people are dumping gallons of milk out in grocery stores.
Yeah, it's not a good thing, guys. I mean, we've talked about some of the trends that are going around, like the NyQuil chicken, and now there is this protest going on. I mean, that's kind of what they're labeling as, but it's become a trend. These TikTok videos, teens are going in, young adults, to these grocery stores, and they're dumping milk out onto the floor. They're being recorded doing it, and their message behind it is, we're against animal products, right? Which is that's all well and good, but that's just not the way to do it.
Oh, so some vegan posturing?
It's absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, that's kind of their mission behind it, right? But let's talk about some of the issues with that.
Yeah.
I mean, number one, it's stealing. You're dumping product out that you didn't pay for. Number two, you're now creating a complete nuisance for the store that they have to now deal with.
True.
And it's just number three, it's just completely disrespectful. I mean, you can protest in a lot of different ways, I feel like, rather than vandalizing and dumping out products onto the floor. I mean, I just think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I'll piggyback off that. It's almost like pouring out vodka to protest the Ukraine war that was distilled in Texas. Like, I mean, that's what people were doing. It's like it's okay to have a message. It's okay to have a movement. Actually, I respect the movement, but it's all depends on how you posture it. Like, doing things like this is just wasting resources and supply chain materials and people's. So, come on. Like, there's no need to get a mop on aisle 4 for the milk cleanup.
No. So don't drink milk if you don't want to. That fine, okay? Like there's lots of alternatives out there, and that's okay that are not animal products. But you know what it reminds me of? Do you remember a few years ago the Fire in the Hole challenge? Like where people would get a drink from a drive-thru and then throw it at the drive-thru.
It's messed up.
Like, which is so fucked up. Like, because you've got someone just trying to do their job, and they're basically getting terrorized by someone in the drive-thru. Grocery store workers don't have an ideology. They don't have a dog in this fight, right? Like you can work at a grocery store and be like, I'm a vegetarian. I'm not going to visit the meat counter for myself, but please don't just make my job harder unnecessarily. Like that sucks.
Yeah.
And so get your message out in a different way, but man, don't punish the hardworking people. Dude, grocery workers have been through enough too.
Absolutely.
I mean, fuck.
I came from that industry, man. That's why this story kind of hit home,
Yeah.
I haven't necessarily seen stuff like this happen live action, but I've seen a lot of consumers behaving appropriately in grocery stores and just not considering what the work that goes into it. The essential workers, of course, what they dealt with. I just think that there's a better platform and a better time and place to do it than to go in and dump out milk onto the floor.
Yeah, dude, that's just needlessly sort of nihilistic.
There's better ways to protest and get your point across other than needless waste and vandalism. It's horrific. It's absolutely horrific. And it is the spooky season.
Yeah.
And so, horror movies are out right now.
Hell yeah.
And John, I know that you are definitely excited to talk a little bit about this.
So a couple of years ago, I got on the horror train. It was right around the time I was smoking more pot.
Okay.
And I realized the right wavelength of suspension of disbelief for me was two things. One, professional wrestling, and two, horror movies. And the reason for that is both of those things, they may not seem related, but they result in me while high going, oh shit, I love that vibe, right? So it's just if you can get on the right wavelength. But the thing that cued me into this was there was an article on the AV Club about Terrifier 2, which is a movie that has recently come out, and I want to read this. It is making people shake, faint, cry, and throw up due to its excessive violence and gore.
Wow.
Okay, I don't so much have interest in that. That, to me, is like when people will try the hottest hot sauce. It's got some insane blood-dripping font on it. With
Scoville units.
8 zillion Scoville units.
Yeah.
So that measures heat, right?
Yes.
It does.
And so people are doing that just to try as some, badge of honor. It's like, I watched the most extreme horror movie. I ate the hottest hot sauce. We drank Everclear. It's all dumb to me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just this stupid, how far can we push things? So for me, I wanted to ask you guys, favorite horror movies, because for me there's a right wavelength for it, and you'll get my vibe here when I reveal mine. But are you guys into horror movies? What are your favorite ones?
Do you have some chambered? No, go.
I don't know if I'm chambered, but I think I remember talking about this earlier in Happy Friday too. Spooky things have always kind of creeped me out. I talked about Paranormal Activity a couple weeks ago.
Oh, right.
Those movies definitely can kind of get me rattled. I watched the new rendition of It for the first time.
Oh, sure.
I saw the original because I was never a big fan of clowns as a kid, and so I did watch the new It, and great job, of course. I mean, the clown that they picked did a good job. It spooked me out.
Oh, Bill Skarsgård is amazing in that movie.
I mean, you stole that right out. I didn't even write that down on the script, so that's what's amazing about that.
You just reached in your brain and
I was going to say my least favorite that I've seen recently, and then I was going to say It was one of the remake, the first one of the two. That first one was one of the best, most captivating, entrenching. Like, oh, I loved that one. But one of my least favorite ones I've seen recently, which was just the other night, and that was Halloween Ends. The Michael Myers with Halloween Ends. That was highly disappointing, predictable, just lackluster. Didn't grip me once. Like it. So,
dude, Jeff Morton's coming for you.
They didn't. Hey, I'm sorry, Jeff, but like that one didn't hit. That one just didn't hit. That was like you went to the local dispensary and they rolled the J too tight and you just couldn't hit it.
What a great analogy. So I like my horror intercut with a little comedy.
Yeah.
So one of the best experiences I ever had in a theater was when I saw Scream in 1996. It was a theater packed with high school girls, too. So everyone was screaming. Everyone was into it. All the jokes were landing. It was phenomenal. Replicating that experience, I didn't see until much later, but was Cabin in the Woods. Both so funny, so inventive, so weird, and like some good scares in it, too. Two of my favorites, and then one I'll give you under the radar. It's called Green Room.
Okay.
And so Green Room is a phenomenal movie. It's a band that is like siphoning gas to get from gig to gig, and they get a high-paying gig, but it's at a Nazi club. And so they're there. And by the way, Nazis are back in America. I don't know if you know that. It sucks. But this Nazi club, they see something terrible happen in the green room, and then they end up trapped in the green room, and it's them trying to get out and negotiate. Really like mood ambient movie. Very tense. But Patrick Stewart plays the main villain, too. So Patrick Stewart, phenomenal actor, right? Everything from Star Trek to Professor X, everything he's in is good. He is phenomenal in this movie. It's my favorite horror movie.
I like it. No, it is a spooky season. It's fun to watch scary movies that actually, like, grip you and, like, have that anticipation, that intensity. It's so much fun. So what we got here next, though, is why has it been smelling like smoke along the front range? Okay, so it's important, you know, and actually this season of the smoke and fire smoke season has been dramatically less than the years prior. Like I feel like the last 3 years before this year were all way worse as far as we couldn't even see the mountains, couldn't see the front range, and it was just like smoking 3 cigarettes equivalents a day if you were a non-smoker, just being outside breathing the air. So it's been much better in Colorado and enjoyable. And in case anyone forgot how it was last year, here's your quick reminder to appreciate how it was last summer because it was amazing. But if you are smelling smoke, they do controlled fires. And these controlled fires right now are conducted by the United States Forest Service. That's the USFS. And it's really just to help out. It's to prevent fires. This is south of Lake George, and with all this, these prescribed burns is what they're called, are known to control burns, and it's an important tool to manage fire safety. So I think it's interesting that you fight fire with fire, and I'm also really happy that we didn't have that.
Where that comes from?
Yeah, it's interesting. So as far as like campfires and stuff, I'm sure camping season's been a lot better this year, and the availability with like being able to actually have that.
Yeah, well, something like 90% of forest fires are caused by humans, which is just so deeply frustrating to me because it's like, man, take care of where you are. Pack in, pack out, wherever you are. Just please don't be a dipshit. No matter what you're doing, just please don't be a dipshit.
Yeah.
And so like prescribed burns, yeah, they really do help. Forest management is really important. I've spent a career working in natural resources. So I know how important the U.S. Forest Service, part of what they do has to do with the harvesting of timber, and that also has to do with wildfire mitigation. And so all of these things taken together, man, if we can just work together, be conscientious. So, yeah, if you're smelling smoke, it's for a good reason for a change. Not like last December with what happened up in Boulder County, which was just terrible.
Oh, last year was terrible for fires all around. I mean, I remember it was just constant battle. All we smelled was smoke all summer long. You know, Art and I had the privilege and the pleasure of getting a private tour of Centennial Airport, and they showed us one of the fire, scouting planes that go out there and kind of, spot the stuff and call in, the apparatus to diffuse some of these fires. It was pretty cool to see that. But, it was definitely not as bad of a fire season as we've seen in years past. I think fire danger was pretty low. People were out campfires and outdoor fires and stuff like that. But, it's good to clear that up a little bit because sometimes when you smell smoke, you think wildfire immediately.
Yep. And to put my hand on that plane, because I did. I put my hand on it to just feel that energy. It was amazing. I mean, so that's why you might be smelling smoke. And there's more than one kind of smoke in the air here in Colorado. And it's actually about to be nationwide at Circle K's. Yes, that is correct. Circle K's by 2023, I believe, Kevin, are planning on rolling out the sale of recreational marijuana.
Yeah. They're Florida's taking it on, guys, and we've heard Florida is
get out of here, no way.
Yeah, a good test subject. I was a little
Shocking.
surprised. I got to be honest. I was surprised that Florida was the state that they wanted to roll this out in. As a test subject. I thought California, Colorado, even Maine would be some of the first contenders.
Well, here's why they chose Florida is because if it's going to go extremely wrong, that's where it's going to happen first, so they can figure out all the problems with it right up
And
front.
it'll be a blip on the radar in Florida. People will be like, oh, whatever.
Yeah, I guess that is a good outlook. But so they're rolling out in 10 brick and mortar locations. They're going to test this out. They partnered up with a major cannabis manufacturer. I've always said it's only a matter of time before you walk into the gas station and say, "Hey, give me a pack of Marlboro Greens." That was always kind of my joke.
Yes.
Right. So now it's kind of.
I've never heard you make that joke.
Yeah. So it's kind of crazy to see it happening now. And I think, if it is a success, which I don't see how it wouldn't be. There's probably going to be some trial and errors in this rollout.
It'll be successful.
But I can see them expanding into all the rec states.
Well, so Kev, I'll give you a local example here. Colorado. So it was Native Roots Cannabis Company.
Great.
Terrific company, and they had a couple of gas and grass stations. So there were a couple here, and I don't remember who they partnered with in terms of gas stations.
Gas and grass.
Yeah. So
like it.
Gas stations. I don't know if you know this, but something like 5% of all gas stations are actually owned by the companies that make the gas. So whether that's Marathon or Exxon or Conoco or whoever.
Sunoco, sure.
Shell.
Yeah, usually they just license their name and they sell gas like it's like a lease to independent businesses. So it's usually families that own these. And so adding marijuana, I think, is an interesting sort of business add-on. And I'd also like to add a quote from Bill and Ted, the immortal Bill and Ted, because down in Florida, strange things are afoot at the Circle K.
Okay.
Iconic line from that movie, right?
That's hilarious.
So.
Yeah, and that's funny you mentioned that. I think, when you look at convenience and people stopping in for gas, you've been able to buy beer at grocery stores for a while, depending on the state that you're in.
Yeah.
Kansas, no.
Here for a long time, it was only 3-2.
Yeah.
3-2, yeah.
Thank God they changed that. Everybody on football days used to be like, on Saturday, you got to get prepped for Sunday, and you'd be running to all the liquor stores on Sunday. And then, if you really fucked up, then you'd be like, all right, I got to go get the 3-2. And then you'd have to get twice the amount so anyone could feel anything.
Well, you know what? This one Super Bowl weekend, I think it was 2002, 2003. My roommates, we were in Fort Collins, so, pretty close to the border. They drove to Wyoming to get us beer.
Get out of here.
No shit. They drove to Wyoming.
To get beer.
Yeah.
Wow.
Desperate times call for desperate measures.
A road trip.
Yeah, or a road trip. The market's changing. We know that for a fact, so it'll be interesting to see how this rolls out into 23.
Yeah, and honestly, marijuana has so many beneficial medicinal purposes, and it's really a great piece to help people, especially something that grows naturally. And so I love the health benefits of marijuana as well. And honestly, I've been a user for a very long time, and I primarily eat it nowadays to avoid the carcinogens, and it helps with anxiety and all these other things. And, there's people out there that are handicapped that use it as well for so many things. And one thing that Red Rocks is doing coming up here is they're actually going to be creating more handicapped space within the amphitheater. And so where that's going to happen is obviously, they're going to do the first row. They really want to make the first row more accessible, create more space there, planning on doing this in 2023. But what a logistical and challenge and engineer-wise, because you're looking at this natural amphitheater that is Red Rocks, one of the most epic venues that anyone can perform at. And now you're trying to morph the land, keep the atmosphere at the same time. But I definitely feel there's a huge importance to doing this. But one of the downfalls is that now you have this group of ticket purchasers that they want to just buy out the first row. And that way it's like you're paying more to go to a show and actually have access to this handicap area. So what do you guys think about that? About trying to create more handicap space there, but then also the scammers that come in and try to buy tickets.
I don't know about the scammers, man, but I'm going to judge this thing based on its intent, right? So everyone deserves a chance to see a show at Red Rocks.
Yes.
Because Red Rocks is such a great venue. And Ben Roy said recently on an episode of Growlix Saves the World, which, by the way, is one of my favorite podcasts here in Denver. Those guys, the Growlix, are just a Denver institution. They're so fucking funny. But he said, eventually, we're all going to be robbed of our mobility. At one time or another, before our life is over, we're going to be robbed of our mobility. And so some people are dealing with that now. We're very lucky to be able-bodied. We're very lucky to experience the world in the way that we do.
Absolutely.
So anyone who is differently abled or has a wheelchair or, has other physical limitations, the idea that they get good seats at Red Rocks, I'm all in favor of. So, I think that's a good thing. As far as scammers, I mean, shit. The world is filled with dicks. So, I mean,
you can't get away from that.
You do what you can to mitigate that. But I think, for now, I want to judge this thing on its intent.
I like that.
And I hope that ultimately it leads to more accessibility and more participation for people who maybe couldn't get it before.
Yeah, let's get Row 2 going.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, NASCAR's done a good job with this too, with kind of revamping some of the racetracks a little bit, because everyone was crammed in there like sardines, a lot like how Red Rocks can feel. Such an epic venue, you want to get as many people in there as possible. But they've kind of dialed that back, pulled the grandstands back, cut out some rows, put in more things. So I like when a venue can kind of analyze, hey, how can we make this a better experience for our patrons, and especially when it comes to accommodating handicapped folks to get in there and be able to see a great show. So I applaud Red Rocks for making these adjustments.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm not dealing with a permanent thing here, or I didn't deal with a permanent thing, but I had a major ankle injury, and I was off I gained a lot of weight, so much that I got stretch marks on my stomach, within a 3-month period of time, and not being mobile. It's crazy how much you take for granted what you have every day until you lose it. So just another generous reminder from your Happy Friday crew. Appreciate what you have.
Can I build on that? Because
Please.
I herniated a disc in my lower back at one point, and I lost feeling in my right foot. I still don't have it all back. I can't feel my big toe or the inside of my right foot.
Wow.
Literally, I have nerve damage that I don't think is ever going to come back.
Wow.
But I couldn't make my foot make dorsiflexion like this. So I couldn't.
Still? Or?
No, I can now.
Okay.
But I couldn't, so I had to wear this hard plastic brace to redo the neural pathways. But I was walking around like that, this uncomfortable fucking piece of plastic on the back of my calf and into my foot, and I realized just how limiting that was. And dude, I could still walk, I could still do things, but it was awful. So going through something like that, you shouldn't have to go through something like that, but it does supercharge your empathy for that kind of thing. So I'm 100% with you. Yeah. So anyway, it's great. I'm hopeful that it turns out the way that they intend for it to turn out, and I hope the scammers get fucked. What can you say, right?
That's all you can hope for. I mean, the intent's right. Let's make it a better viewing experience. There's always going to be bullshit that comes with it.
Yeah,
absolutely. Anybody out there with ailments, we wish you, not even wish, I'm going to go ahead and put it out to the world. You're going to have a mental stability and strength that will carry you through regardless of the circumstances. And I wish that upon everybody, and to do it in a just and selfless manner. So after that,
what's next?
What we got next, man, is we have a bout in the mountains. And what I mean by a bout is a battle. We have a battle
ding, ding, ding.
in the mountains between mountain goats and bighorn sheep. And why is this happening? Okay, so one of these is actually native and the other isn't. So mountain goats and bighorn sheep are duking it out. According to the study, they're battling over minerals out there, and they're disappearing because of global warming and human construction. So the mountain goats almost always win the battles between these species, coming out on top 98% of the time. The problem is that the mountain goats aren't native to Colorado. So we have this, what is it when it's not indigenous?
Invasive.
Invasive. Indigenous lives there.
Yeah.
Invasive species. So that's what's going on out there. And it's crazy to think about this, because as humanity continues to grow, I mean, there's even mentions of like man-made water sources out here, and these animals battling over this, and road construction is also a cause of these things. But you have these two species out there battling over the same things, and one is native to the state, one is not. So at this point in time, you know, it's like you can't just kill off one of the animals. And so it's like, how do we all feel about this, about human-made evolution and population of animals and how animals need to migrate? Like, human development has changed, you know, decade-long, century-long patterns of these animals. Like, it's interesting, and this is happening in the Rocky Mountains right now.
So I have two things to say about this. One, Mountain Goats, great band. So if anyone knows the Mountain Goats, terrific band, long time as a band, and do all sorts of different types of music. They're phenomenal. Secondly, this was a study from Colorado State University, right? So the bighorn sheep, those are rams. I have to say, as an alumnus, a two-time alumnus of Colorado State University, I have to say go Rams as they take on these mountain goats. But as usual, the Rams are losing. Because the Rams have been getting their asses kicked for a long time now, at least in football. Basketball team good. Volleyball team phenomenal. Women's basketball team I think is pretty good. So to your point, and to answer this in a real way, it's always hard when you introduce a new species into an area. You never know exactly how it's going to go.
Yeah.
And if they are invasive, if they are territorial, and if they are replacing the native fauna, that sucks. You know, like, because you're introducing a new creature to an ecosystem that maybe doesn't belong there. And so that's going to upset the balance of our ecosystem, which humans are really, really good at already.
Yes.
And so, like, that's frustrating.
I mean, we're even in space. We're everywhere where we shouldn't be.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't have an answer to that. I'm not a biologist. I'm not a zoologist. I'm not an ecologist. But, you know, I read this and I go, well, that sucks, and I don't know what to do about it.
It's like, how did they get here? I didn't see that part of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of one of those things, like, what can we do about it? You know, there's probably something we can do along the way, but I think this is just a natural occurrence of, this is, you know, like you had mentioned, road construction, different things are happening. They're pushing the animals in different directions, and now we have, you know, a heavyweight battle on our hand for the, you know, the heavyweight title between the goats and the bighorns. So, you know, I think it's good to be aware of it. I just don't know how we're going to correct it.
And the Rams are losing once again. That's the way it goes. But, you know, what can you do about that? All right, let's move on.
Well,
we talked about travel, right?
Yes.
So we brought these species in. They traveled here. Everyone's traveling for the holidays, right? We are here. It's October. It is time to book your travel. If you haven't done it already, you are probably behind the 8 ball, because travel this year is expected to be 85% higher than in 2021. So that means increased costs. There is staffing issues at the TSA. There's staffing issues with airlines. Everyone is, you know, there's a whole myth about no one wants to work anymore. It's not as simple as that. It's a little bit different than that. But the challenges are real. You know, airlines are cutting routes. So if you haven't booked your travel yet, expect to pay a lot and expect to get high traffic at the airports or wherever you're going. So get on that. Do you guys travel during the holidays? I know, Kev, you're not from here. Arthur, you are. What do you guys typically do on the holidays?
I mean, I've traveled a little bit on the holidays, not typically air travel.
You road tripping it?
Yeah, sometimes I road trip it. You know, I grew up around a lot of family, so we wouldn't have to drive too far. Sometimes, you know, down to New York or whatever. But since I've been in Colorado, I really just been spending it with my folks because they live out here.
So they moved out here too? I didn't know that.
Yep. My folks are out. Yep, they live in Littleton. So,
oh, cool, buddy.
Yep, they you know, get to visit with them quite a bit. But I'm usually, you know, at the NASCAR Championship, so I'll be traveling here in a couple weeks in November. So
did you already book it?
Booked way in advance.
Oh, well done.
I mean, the moral of the story is get ahead of get ahead of it. If you're trying to do, you know, a Thanksgiving trip and you haven't booked it yet, you need to tighten up.
Get a hold of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, and today is honestly today. Because the prices, what they said in this article was that they're going to increase after 10/20. So October 20th, today, it's time to keep it moving.
You mean yesterday?
Yeah, that was yesterday.
Yeah, actually yesterday.
That was yesterday.
You know, sometimes when you're living in a wormhole of life and However, no, but
it's like Matthew McConaughey says in True Detective, time is a flat circle.
Yes.
I don't know if I even did that right. I never saw that show, but everyone always...
I was sold.
I trusted in your capability of the distribution of that information, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, that's what I do.
No, but here's the thing, man, is like traveling for me is not my favorite thing to do. It's not that relaxing. Only unless if I get a whole week there or something. If I could get a whole 7 days someplace, then I actually feel like I have time to travel and relax and then get back home.
Okay.
So when I travel, I always like to take the day off after I arrive back home.
Oh, shit, you're a genius.
And so that way you have time to just chill.
Holy shit.
No, but you do that.
No, I don't.
No, so you're being genuine right now.
Yeah, dude. No, you're a fucking genius. Because I'm like, God, why do I... Like, I'll get home and I'll be like, Jesus, I have to start working tomorrow.
Yes.
And I never build in that extra day. Why the fuck don't I do that?
You got to build it in.
Yeah. Well, dude, and so here's the thing, too. When you have kids, you don't take vacations. You take trips.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, so you're not relaxing
working.
ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're really like double on the clock.
Making sure they don't get lost in the airport.
You gotta
You
really.
can't just get drunk and hang out. You have responsibilities.
You're on your shit.
You got to have entertainment for the plane.
Yeah, dude. Like, so we have a whole bag. It's like a Mary Poppins bag. Like you keep pulling tricks out of it, literally. Like because it's like I'm bored or I'm hungry. It's like, all right, well here you go. Check it out.
Oh,
Like,
I didn't show you this yet.
and they go, whoa, we actually get this, and you go, yeah. That's why my kids don't get iPads like hardly ever because we
Hardly ever.
No, literally like hardly ever. Because
like in the hand.
Yes.
I thought as gifted.
No.
Okay.
Like Jesus, no. Like it's not like an awards show where we're giving them a new iPad.
I'm
Like,
sorry. I was getting so excited about how you're talking about things like here's a brand new iPad for
but
you.
we don't give them the iPad
This
like
isn't
ever.
Oprah.
I know. This is Happy Friday Denver, baby.
That's right.
And you get an iPad. And you get an iPad. So no, but like we don't give it to them that often because you need it so that when like you're on a plane or you're in the car like we were just recently, they go, shit, we get the iPads. And they're like, yes. And then they're cool. Like, and they're thrilled by it. So my wife and I, when we try to get away because it's expensive, like you're either going to dump your kids on the grandparents or someone you're paying. Right?
Yes.
So we've gotten really good at the 48-hour vacation. And we cram in as much as we can in 48 hours.
Sounds exhausting.
It's very, very exhausting, but
Yes.
so worth it.
Yes.
Like so. Anyway, we're coming to the weekend here. So it's Happy Friday. Let's talk about the weekend. Powerball is up over $500 million now.
What you got on the table here, John?
So literally, I've got my ticket. So I am poised to win. I've already signed it too. Get your ticket and always sign it because if you don't sign it, anyone can claim it. It's theirs. So
That's a good point.
my question to you is, and by the way, this is why I buy Powerball tickets, and here's my philosophy for it.
All right, let's hear this. I'm not a gambling man, so I'm curious.
I only buy it when the jackpot is equal to the odds. So it's roughly 1 in 350 million that you're going to win the jackpot. When the jackpot exceeds 350 million, that's when I buy tickets. And I know what I'm buying. So this cost me $4 here, okay? That $4 is buying me at least a small level of reality that I can win, right? You're never going to win unless you play.
Yes.
So I'm willing to spend $4 because it allows the fantasy to be like, oh, what if I actually won this $550 million?
It's fun to think about.
Yeah. Like, I know what I'm paying for here. I have no delusions that this is actually going to pay off, but it's fun to think that on the off chance it does.
It could happen.
Yeah, it legitimately could happen because I have a ticket.
You have the ticket. So are you taking cash or annuity?
Cash.
Yeah, you got to take the cash.
Yeah. So my question to you guys is, everyone knows that, like, the dumb answer is if you win this $550 million, I'm paying off my debts or I'm investing in stocks or mutual funds or whatever. Like, disregard all that dumb horse shit, right? Because that's what everyone does. You know, I'm paying for my kids' educations. I'm setting my family up. Everyone knows that.
So not buying houses.
Yeah. Not buying
stuff like
houses,
that.
not like
Yeah.
everyone knows you're going to buy a new car. Like you're going to go on vacation, whatever, right? What is the dumbest fucking thing that you're going to do with this money if you win? Okay? So like just something stupid, something frivolous, something goofy. What is it? What are you guys buying?
Oh man, I look here. I read this question earlier today, and I'm still thinking like, okay, so if I was gonna do the dumbest thing I could possibly do with this
Or
money,
not even dumbest. Like, it doesn't have to be objectively stupid.
Okay.
But like something that's just frivolous and clearly just for you.
Okay, so I'm gonna like splurge on the most expensive meal first of all. Okay, and then I'm gonna rent a limo for all my boys and me, and then I'm gonna buy bottle service. All right, and then rent out the fucking penthouse at the dopest hotel.
So you're basically filming a rap video at this point.
Is that what I'm going for? Okay, let's bang some
The only thing
hip
we're
hop
missing is
music.
the Lamborghinis.
Yeah, I love to freestyle. I love to do that. We're gonna bang hip hop music and do all this. No, it's just about having that good time. And like, if I can make a memory, if I could blow the whole what was it, 300 something million? Like I
550.
Well, I guarantee you, I could spend that within 8 weeks.
That's aggressive.
That is super
but
aggressive.
That's fun, and we could all just like look. All right, I'm gonna be a little responsible. I'm gonna put a little bit aside so that, like, my job knows that I'm.
We
back.
know that.
Yeah,
okay.
we gotta do that. Okay, now Kevin, you go.
I mean, I'd have some fun with it for sure. Of course, I want to buy some silly stuff. I'd probably, invest in the business and getting Happy Friday and Discussion Combustion to be household names.
God damn it. Okay.
Of course.
Like,
That's
we've
not the-
already
that's
talked
not the
about
question,
this.
Yeah,
Kevin.
no, but I would. I mean, if I'm being honest.
We know
That's
that.
It's not the
Everyone
question.
fucking knows that.
Outside of that, I would get a custom Ford GT with Batstone down the side. Because, supercar, if I'm going to go supercar, it's got to be a Ford GT. I got to hold my Ford roots with that custom Batstone paint job down the side. Maybe I thought about a yacht, but they're just, where am I going to put it?
I don't want to. It's
You
Colorado,
can't-
man.
You can't maintain that. All right, no, this is what I'm really gonna spend it on.
You already had your chance.
No, I'm gonna get a bunch of expensive firearms and just send hundreds of thousands of rounds down the range. Dude, you can blow so much money that way, literally blow it.
More power to you. Clearly, Kevin, I have to admit that I'm disappointed that you didn't say, like, start your own NASCAR team.
That was also in there, but just seeing some of the obstacles and some of the money that goes into that, even with that kind of money,
Yeah.
it's a big
Even
commitment.
prohibitive,
It's a gamble.
huh? Okay, so my answer is, first thing I'm doing is I'm renting out the Mission Ballroom, and I am throwing myself the most epic craft beer, punk rock, and pro wrestling festival.
Fuck yeah.
Okay, that's
Invite.
one of the best venues in Colorado.
It is the best venue.
Mission Ballroom, gotta check it out.
Epic.
So yeah, the acoustics, the sight lines, everything is tremendous. I am bringing in a custom curated beer list for that. It's all going to be free. It's invite only. You can submit pitches why you should be at this thing. And so here are 3 must-haves at that. So it's punk rock, craft beer, and pro wrestling. Okay? So craft beer, I'm having kegs of zombie dust from Three Floyds Brewing in Indiana. It's
John
my
really
favorite
thought
beer.
about this.
Yeah, no. I was wearing the hat like a couple of weeks ago. The punk rock, we performing that night will at least be the Interrupters and Bad Cop. 2 epic fucking bands. And then on the wrestling front, I don't care who's there. I mean, I do. I will curate that list. But must be there is Orange Cassidy, who is my current favorite wrestler. He is in AEW. He's the current All-Atlantic champion. That is what I'm blowing that money on. I don't know how much that's going to cost, but I have more than enough to cover everyone's booking fees.
And then
for
some.
that. Yeah.
And then you can pay for the friends and family to come in.
Yep. It's all going to be covered. It's free admission. I'm covering it all. That's the dumbest thing I'm blowing it on.
I love that.
It's going to be fun, man.
That's awesome.
I love that. Well, what else is going on this week in Denver? So Saturday night ping pong, Denver Pong. This is off South Broadway. Saturday from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. If you're into playing ping pong, you like to get competitive with ping pong, you should go out there and slap some balls with them paddles, baby, because it's going down. John, do you like playing ping pong?
In college, we had a ping pong table in my garage. I was undefeated against my roommates. And
Really?
I had a one-handed serve, so I kept the ball right on the paddle here. I'd toss it up with that, and I'd hit it. The reason I was doing that, we were playing in the garage. I was smoking a cigarette in the other hand.
Okay.
so I had a one-handed
You're
serve.
multitasking.
Oh yeah,
And being competitive.
yeah,
I can
and
respect
I was
that.
destroying too.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was crushing.
Yeah.
No, I fucking love ping.
I would love to play you.
Oh, we'll play, dude. And
would
we'll
love
put.
to play.
You know what? We'll put it on Instagram.
That would be so much
We'll
fun.
go to Ace Eat Serve. All right, we'll play there.
I used to do a lot of beer pong. I've retired and come out of retirement about 3 times, but I'm re-retired. I might come out again. We'll see.
Re-retired.
So, if you want to do running, Day of the Dead 5K, 10K is going on at City Park. It's from 9 to 11 a.m. It's coming up this weekend, guys. I won't be there. You know, if you want to do running, marathons,
This
it's
Sunday.
just not my thing. Yeah, it's this Sunday, 9 a.m., 11 a.m. if you want to do a 5K and a 10K. Dawn of the Dead theme. That sounds kind of fun.
Have you ever run a 5K?
No.
Have you?
I've walked a 5K.
Okay, I have run 3 5Ks in my life.
Wow.
But they were like obstacle course 5Ks. You know,
That sounds like more fun.
Yeah, but there's still a shitload of running.
3.2
Yeah.
miles, right? 3.12 miles.
3.1 something miles. Yeah.
The only reason I know that is because of NASCAR, and I'll get into that another time.
What else we got going on, John?
Oh shit! The Fall Flannel Festival. I know nothing about this. Someone else wrote this. Why
So-
are you throwing it to me?
No,
I
but
don't fucking know.
It's happening on Sunday.
Yeah, so
At the dairy block.
Yeah, look,
Yeah.
I got my flannel on. I still won't be there, but I am fully supporting the Fall Flannel Festival. People come out with their flannels and they hang out from 11 to 2, do drinking, throw frisbees, maybe eat some apple cider or drink apple cider. And what do you eat?
Do you know this, or are you making this up?
No, I think that's what's happening.
Okay.
No, he's the chief meteorologist. He knows what's going on.
We're not talking weather, Art.
No, but he knows what's going on.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you're into Halloween, well, there's a pet parade out there for y'all. This is coming up on Sunday, 7 to 9 a.m. Terminal Bar. That's off Wine Coop, Denver, Colorado, baby. Check it out.
So that is in Union Station. Terminal Bar is a cool bar inside Union Station. That is early as fuck for a pet parade.
Yeah, I mean 7 a.m.
I mean, dog walkers are healthy, happy people. They're up early when the sun rises, and I completely support that. And on that note, if you would like to support us, definitely check out Happy Friday Den on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the different socials. We're on Discussion Combustion. Also YouTube at Discussion Combustion Podcast. Well, that's where we do the YouTube channel. Definitely email us if you have anything to say, you have suggestions. We'd love to talk about those subjects. happyfridaydenver@gmail.com. And you already know Mile High Life. We represent them. We love being a part of their network. Bring it in, Freckishinas.
It's Friday, happy